Jones, it is feel great to be alive. Happy Saturday, baseball fans. Hope all you guys had a great, week so far because it's now the weekend. So I don't really want to waste time, guys, because we only have three things to talk about in today's episode. However, of all those of three things are going to take a little bit of time as I want to get into the deep dive of every single one of them. So we are going to talk about the All-Stars for the 2026 MLB All-Star Game. We will announce the starters for both teams and the reserves. After that, guys, we're going to talk about maybe some MLB realignment. So this is not going to be happening next year or the year after, but sometime in the next couple of years, it very well could happen. So we're going to take a look at that. And then, guys, we are going to end this episode with the Pioneer Independent Baseball League and potentially the two teams that will clinch the first half of the Pioneer League season. Okay, so since this year's All-Star Game is in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is a National League ballpark, we are going to start talking about the away team first, and that would be the American League All-Stars. So these are your 2026 American League All-Stars starters. They will be the starters for the American League in the 2026 MLB All-Star Game. So the outfield is going to look like this. In left field from the Minnesota Twins, Byron Buxton. In center field from the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Mike Trout. In right field from the New York Yankees, Cody Bellinger. At third base from the Tampa Bay Rays is going to be Junior Caminero. At shortstop from the Kansas City Royals is going to be Bobby Witt Jr. At second base from the Toronto Blue Jays is going to be Ernie Clement. At first base from the New York Yankees is going to be Ben Rice. Catching from the Athletics or the Sacramento Athletics is going to be Shea Langeliers, and the DH from the Houston Astros will be Jordan Alvarez. And the starting pitcher from the New York Yankees will be Cam Schlitter. And a bravo for him because it will be his first apparent time in the MLB All-Star Game, yet alone starting the MLB All-Star Game. So I did want to talk about a little bit, guys. Of course, guys, let's talk about the outfield for a minute. Byron Buxton is the everyday center fielder for the Minnesota Twins. He has not played a single game in the regular season in left field in his MLB career. And the only time I've ever seen it was when it was in the All-Star Game. He has never played in left field in spring training, of course, in the regular season. So that's interesting. And then Cody Bellinger, guys. Well, Cody Bellinger is no stranger to right field at the MLB level. He played with the Dodgers and played right field. He was with the Cubbies and played right field. He's actually now the everyday left fielder for the Yankees. And then speaking of the Yankees, Ben Rice, who I do believe is on the IL at the moment, is the starting first baseman. So that is pretty cool. And then, so I found that just a little interesting, guys. I want to know what you guys think. So, of course, chime in. But those are your American League starters. Now we are going to go to the American League reserves. So here are the reserves, guys. The position players from the Detroit Tigers, Dylan Dingler. From the Baltimore Orioles, Adley Rutschman. From the Sacramento Athletics, Nick Kurtz. From the New York Yankees, Jazz Chisholm Jr. From the White Sox, Colson Montgomery. From the Detroit Tigers, Kevin McGougal. From the White Sox, Miguel Vargas. From the Tigers, Riley Green. From the Kansas City Royals, Jack Cannelone. From the Seattle Mariners, Randy Ozarena. From the Tampa Bay Rays, Yandy Diaz. Those are the reserves, but they are the position players of the reserves. Now we go to the pitchers. From the Toronto Blue Jays, Dylan Cease. From the Cleveland Guardians, Gavin Williams. From the Tampa Bay Rays, Drew Rasmussen. From the Texas Rangers, Jacob deGrom. From the Cleveland Guardians, Parker Messick. From the Tampa Bay Rays, Nick Martinez. From the Minnesota Twins, Joe Ryan. From the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Jose Serrano. From the Cleveland Guardians, Cade Smith. From the Toronto Blue Jays, Luis Vernon. And from the Boston Red Sox, Aroldis Chapman. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the American League All-Stars reserves. And now we turn our attention to the National League All-Stars. Okay, guys, now we're going to go to the National League, the starters. Again, guys, it is at Citizens Bank Park. That is the home of the Philadelphia Phillies. So, since it's a National League ballpark, National League being the home team. But anyway, guys, these are the starters, guys. In left field from the Washington Nationals, James Wood. In center field from the Chicago Cubs, Pete Crow Armstrong, or Pete catches anything and everything. That's what they say in Chicago. In right field from the Arizona Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll. At third base from the back-to-back World Series champions, the LA Dodgers, Max Muncy. Shortstop from the Washington Nationals, CJ Abrams. At second base from the Milwaukee Brewers, Bryce Terang. At first base from the Atlanta Braves, Matt Olson. The designated hitter from the back-to-back World Series champions, the LA Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani. Catching from the Atlanta Braves, Drake Baldwin. On the mound from the Milwaukee Brewers, Jacob Mizrachi. Remember, guys, last night Jacob Mizrachi threw a pitch to Pete Crow Armstrong at 105.5 miles an hour. And those two men, PCA and Mizrachi, will start the MLB All-Star game for the National League. It's interesting that Mizrachi is the starting pitcher because the past 2 years in the MLB All-Star game for the National League, it's been Paul Skeens. So all I have to say now to the American League starters in the All-Star game is really good luck when you have to face Jacob Mizrachi, a guy that can throw a pitch at 105.5 miles an hour right down the middle every single time he's going to get bats of missing. So, but here are the reserves for the National League. From the Colorado Rockies, Hunter Goodman. From the home of the 2026 MLB All-Star Game, Philadelphia Phillies, Bryce Harper. From the Pittsburgh Pirates, Brendan Lau. From the Miami Marlins, Otto Lopez. From the Cincinnati Reds, Ellie De La Cruz. From the San Francisco Giants, Matt Chapman. From the St. Louis Cardinals, Jordan Walker. From the New York Mets, Juan Soto. From the Dodgers, Andy Pages. From the Pirates, Brian Reynolds. From the home of the 2026 MLB All-Star Game, Philadelphia Phillies, Kyle Schwarber. From the, again, and Christopher Sanchez. From the Cincinnati Reds, Chase Burns. From the Atlanta Braves, Chris Sale. From the Pittsburgh Pirates, Paul Skeens. From the home of the MLB All-Star Game, Philadelphia Phillies, Zach Wheeler. From the LA Dodgers, Yoshi Yamamoto. From the Milwaukee Brewers, Kyle Harrison. From the Miami Marlins, Max Meyer. From the San Diego Padres, Mason Miller. From the home of the MLB All-Star Game, Philadelphia Phillies, Juan Duran. And from the Atlanta Braves, Raisel Iglesias. Whew, that, guys, is your 2026 National League All-Star team. And before I move on to part 2 of this episode, which team do you think is going to win the All-Star game? Let me know down below in the comment section. Okay, baseball fans, welcome to part 2 of today's episode, and it is on the MLB realignment. As you guys know, there are currently 30 teams in Major League Baseball, and there are a total of 6 divisions, 3 in each league, and a AL East, AL Central, AL West. Then you got a NL West, NL Central, and NL East with 5 teams in each division. Now, this realignment, and I'm very, curious to find out what you guys think about it. So definitely leave your comments down below in the comment section. But according to Rob Manfred, guys, this could be the official MLB newest realignment by 2029. Now we're in 2026, so it would still be a few years away. But here we go. It would be the NL Midwest. Then you got the NL Central, the NL Southwest, and the NL Northwest. So you would have 4 divisions in each league, which is 8 divisions total. Anywho, the NL Midwest would be the Chicago Cubs, the Chicago White Sox, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Cincinnati Reds. Then in the NL Central, you would have the Colorado Rockies, the Kansas City Royals, the Texas Rangers, and the Houston Astros. And then in the NL Southwest, you would have the back-to-back World Series champions, the LA Dodgers, the San Diego Padres, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And then in the NL Northwest, you would have the Seattle Mariners, the Sacramento or Las Vegas Athletics, the San Francisco Giants, and a team in Portland, Oregon. And we will get back to that in just a little bit. But that would be the newest realignment for the National League. Now, for the American League, the AL Northwest would be the Yankees, the Mets, the Red Sox, the Phillies. Then there would be the AL Mid-Atlantic League, and that would contest in the Baltimore Orioles, the Washington Nationals, the Pittsburgh Pirates, and the Cleveland Guardians. Then you got the AL Great Lake Division of the Minnesota Twins, the Detroit Tigers, the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Toronto Blue Jays. And then you would have the AL Southeast, which would contest of the Atlanta Braves, the Miami Marlins, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Charlotte expansion team. So basically the 2 expansion teams would be out of Portland, Oregon, and Charlotte, North Carolina. All right. Now, let's talk about those 2 realignment teams. Okay, so let's start. Well, since I'm on the west of the U.S., because I live in Boise, Idaho, let's talk about Portland, okay? So Portland has, when it comes to baseball, Portland, Oregon has 3 things you need to know, okay? They have a college team, the Portland, I think Portland Timbers. They're a college baseball team in the Mountain West Conference. Then they have the Portland Pickles, which is like a collegiate league summer ball team. It's so legendary. I mean, there have been a total of 57 players that have played for the Portland Pickles that a few years after they played, they were in MLB playing. And then you got the Portland Mavericks, who are in the Mavericks League, which is a independent baseball league. So Portland actually does have a lot of baseball going on. By the way, the Portland Mavericks and Portland Pickles don't play on the same field. I probably know some of you were going to be asking that. They don't do that. But yeah, kind of odd and all that. But what I find really weird, okay, is number one, you got the NL. Let's talk about the NL Midwest, okay? You got the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox in the same division. Now, the reason I say this is because when you look at New York, you got the New York Mets and the Yankees, but they're not in the same division. You know, so that's kind of what. Now I don't know who put this realignment on, and I would be very curious actually to find out. But I want to know what you guys think, okay? And you know, as I look at the National League, there is a lot of like stuff going on. I mean, you would have in the NL Midwest, you would have one team that was in the American League that would go to the National League. Then you get to the NL Central, the middle of it, and you got 3 teams in that league that are coming from the American League. And then you got the NL Southwest, where you got one team coming from. I don't get it, okay? I mean, I get it. I get it, and I don't get it. You know, this is kind of like, okay, let me ask you guys this one question. Do you believe that this realignment would ruin Major League Baseball? Be honest, okay? I mean, would it ruin Major League Baseball? I really don't know. I mean, it's tough to say, but you know, now we go to the AL Northwest. Now, Charlotte, North Carolina, okay? As of right now, as we enter today and right now, Charlotte is kind of a pro baseball team. They are the AAA affiliate of the Chicago White Sox. And for at least the past 2 years, there has been heavy talk on making Charlotte, North Carolina a MLB team. Now, my mom would not mind that. My mom just doesn't want to see a MLB team go to Portland, Oregon. Okay, I really don't know what to think, guys. There's another potential realignment as well that we maybe could like do a full episode on the MLB realignment, because there is another potential MLB realignment as well, and it's not this one that I'm looking at. So, you know, maybe we'll do that. But I just would love to get your guys' opinion on it and your thoughts. I mean, obviously it's crazy, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, even talking about this now gets me PTSD and stress. So, but you want to hear what you guys have to say about it and all that. So definitely, if you guys do want to like look at it, you can go to MLB Fox on X, Twitter, social media, and that is the realignment that I'm actually looking at. So if you go there, it can show it. However, if you go and you type in the MLB realignment, you can see the other realignment I would be talking about. and all that. Maybe we could do like a full video on that. But yeah, so I'm just going to end it right there, guys. You guys can let me know definitely what you guys think of this. I don't know what to think of it. So, I don't know if this is going to ruin Major League Baseball or make it more complicated. But, I mean, wow. It's just wow, just wow. All right, baseball fans, now we are into part 3 of today's episode, and we are finally going to switch it from Major League Baseball to Pioneer Independent Baseball, guys. So, with just about 2 weeks left of the first half of the 2026 Pioneer League regular season, guys, we are going to talk about how the first half playoff system works, okay? So, first of all, the most important thing you guys need to know about the Pioneer Independent Baseball League is that there is no divisions. There are 12 teams in the Pioneer Independent Baseball League, but there is not one division. So the question is, how do you determine who or what 2 teams automatically make the playoffs at the end of the first half? Now that, ladies and gentlemen, is $1 million question, but it is a good question, okay? And the answer is quite simple. The top 2 teams that finish in the top 2 in the first half of the season, bippity boppity boop, make the playoffs. So, if the first half of the Pioneer League regular season ended right now, it would be the Long Beach Coast and the Billings Mustangs that would automatically go to playoffs. Now then, you got the second question. What if those same 2 teams finish in the top 2 in the second half? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is even a billion dollar question, because then it would go to the next 2 teams that had the best overall record. I hope that does make a little bit of sense. Hopefully. Because you know what, guys? I don't really know how to explain it any other way. But, as of right now, the Long Beach Coast and the Billings Mustangs are in sole possession of clinching the first half of the year and getting a playoff spot. Now, remember, for Long Beach, this year is their first year in the Pioneer Independent Baseball League. They are one of 3 new teams in the Pioneer Independent Baseball League. The Billings Mustangs have not been in the postseason since 2023. 2023, ladies and gentlemen, was the last time the Billings Mustangs went to the postseason, and unfortunately, they lost in the championship game. So if those 2 teams can still remain in the top 2 spots in the first half of the season, then it would be a great story, a great baseball story for both of them. So, but yeah, guys, that right there is how the Pioneer League does work. Again, I'm not the ones that make the rules, guys. A lot of people believe there should be 2 divisions, like a North Division and a South Division. But unfortunately, there is no division. All right, that is, I know, pretty sad news. But there you guys have it. Okay, baseball fans, that is all I have for you guys on this episode of Main Event Baseball with Ryan. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit that thumbs up and like, and don't forget to subscribe down below in the comment section if you have not done so already. Before I end the episode, as always, I wanted to say thank you so much for watching. Of course, let me know what you thought of the episode. I do apologize that it was a long one, but I tried to get the Pioneer League one as short, simple, and sweet as possible. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Enjoy your Saturday. Take care of yourself and one another. And I'll see you guys right back here in our next episode.